Madagascar appears first as a line, thin, distant, and almost unreal, where the Indian Ocean meets a hazy sky. The approach feels quiet, not dramatic. The coastline is not a single look, but a sequence: pale sand, darker rock, then red earth stained by iron-rich soil. The air changes with distance from the water. Salt gives way to warmth, then to a heavier scent, vegetation and damp ground, signaling an interior that holds its own climate. This island has always been slightly apart. Geography shaped everything here: weather patterns, coastlines, rivers, and forests, and also the living world that adapted in isolation over immense time. Madagascar is not a single landscape. It is a patchwork of ecosystems placed side by side. Dry regions that feel sun-scorched and spare, humid forests that trap moisture, highlands that cool at night, and mangrove edges where land and sea interlock. Arrival is about scale, but also about distance. Roads do not always announce themselves. Settlements appear gently. A few structures, a thin track, a cluster of boats pulled above the tide line. Life is present, but not loud. Farther inland, the color palette shifts again. Red soil becomes the dominant tone. Green rises in layers, low shrubs, taller trees, and then a dense canopy that changes the soundscape. Insects become constant. Wind fades under leaves. The ocean's steady push becomes a memory. Early travel sequences should breathe. Long, stable frames allow the viewer to sense how the island's light behaves. Madagascar light can feel clean, with strong separation between highlights and shadow, especially in the morning. In open spaces, dust catches sunlight and hangs briefly, turning movement into a visible trail. In wooded areas, sun breaks into moving patches across trunks and ground, like a slow pattern that never repeats. Even without close human faces, the documentary can show local presence through texture and motion. Footprints in red dust, woven materials drying in sun, smoke drifting from cooking fires, small paths worn into the landscape. Practical details: wood, rope, baskets, simple boats, tarps, tell a story of adaptation without needing explanation. The island's rhythm is often quiet work: carrying, sorting, repairing, walking. The camera language of arrival should emphasize separation and vastness. Wide aerials establish coastline geometry, then glide toward inland greens. Low tracking shots along roads reveal how quickly the setting changes. A slow push into a tree line can feel like entering another world. Natural effects do the job: wind, distant birds, insects, water movement, and occasional creaks from simple materials. The first signature hint can be subtle: an unusual silhouette on the horizon that does not match ordinary forest shapes. A strange trunk, a crown that looks too deliberate, too sculptural. The mind tries to classify it, then gives up. The viewer does not need to know the name yet. The shape alone is enough. This is the kind of opening that builds retention without noise. The island's presence is the hook. The feeling is not danger, but difference. Madagascar does not behave like a familiar place. It offers familiar elements: ocean, forest, villages, roads, then recombines them into something distinct. As travel continues, the soundtrack of nature becomes a map. The coast sounds wide and open. Inland becomes layered and close. Highlands bring thinner air and cooler nights. even the silence changes. And in that changing quiet, the documentary begins to ask a gentle question. What kind of life emerges when a landmass stays isolated long enough for evolution to experiment? A final arrival beat can set up the next chapter. A road bends toward an open plain, the sky becomes larger, and those strange silhouettes multiply. The sense of space expands. The viewer is ready for the first unmistakable wonder, because the approach earned it. The last frames of Part 1 should feel like stepping to the edge of a new scene, with one calm promise. Beyond this bend, the island shows its true shape. The first unmistakable wonder arrives as a corridor of giants. Trunks stand apart like monuments, not packed tightly like a normal forest. The geometry feels intentional, as if the landscape was designed. These are baobabs, trees that look ancient even when the light is modern. Trees that carry the weight of time in the shape of bark. The scene works because it reads immediately. One clear subject, clean background, strong contrast between warm earth and pale sky, and a silhouette so unique that it becomes a signature at a glance. Even viewers who know nothing about Madagascar recognize the feeling. This is not a place that could be mistaken for anywhere else. Baobabs are not pretty in a delicate way. Baobabs are powerful. The trunks swell like stored water. The bark wears scars like history, and the crowns can look upside down, branches reaching like roots into the sky. In daylight, the texture is everything. Rough patches, smooth bands, small holes, and knots shaped by decades of weather. In side light, the trunk becomes a sculpture, with highlights rolling slowly along curves. A documentary sequence here should move between three scales. First, the wide establishing shot, the whole avenue, the spacing, the road, the horizon. Second, the medium scale, a single trunk dominating the frame, with the road and smaller trees reduced to context. Third, the close texture, bark detail, lichen patches, small insects, dry grass brushing the base. These scale shifts keep attention without needing fast edits. The emotional promise is calm wonder. The viewer feels small, but not threatened. The tension is gentle, time passing, light changing, clouds approaching, shadows shifting. This is a place where the same scene transforms every few minutes. In the morning, the trunks feel clean and crisp. In late afternoon, the trunks glow with warm rim light. Near sunset, the silhouettes turn black against a burning sky, and the ground becomes a long pattern of shadows. Use that changing light as the mini cliffhanger engine. A cloud edge drifts into frame and dims the avenue for a moment. Wind lifts dust in a thin sheet, briefly hiding the bases of trunks. Sun breaks through again, and the bark turns golden. Each change feels like a new reveal, while the setting stays consistent. Sound design should remain simple and realistic. Wind across open plain, insects, distant birds, and occasional soft creak from branches. If the road is present, a distant vehicle can appear as a low, short texture, then fade without taking over the scene. The aim is meditative, not busy. To avoid repetition across many minutes, vary perspective and movement while honoring the same location identity. A slow drone glide down the avenue creates scale. A low gimbal move near the ground makes trunks feel towering. A static tripod hold lets the viewer notice subtle motion in leaves and grass. A gentle orbit around one trunk reveals the full volume, like a museum sculpture. Insert local texture without faces. Distant silhouettes walking along the road can show human scale while staying respectful. A bicycle far away. A cart. A small cluster of people as tiny shapes in a wide frame. The trees remain the hero. At midpoint of the chapter, shift to a more intimate emotional tone. The camera lingers on scars and bark patterns, suggesting longevity and survival through drought cycles. Then return to wide shots to restore the sense of cathedral-like openness under sky. Toward the end, introduce a light change that hints at the next environment. The warm, open plain begins to feel transitional. The air thickens slightly. A line of greener trees marks a boundary. Clouds build at the horizon, suggesting humidity, suggesting forest. The last shots can show the baobabs one final time, now in a different light than the opening, so it feels like a completed visual journey even within the same place. Close this part with a gentle question, not spoken as a gimmick, but implied by the imagery. If a tree can look this alien in open daylight, what happens when the road leaves the plain and enters the deeper green? A shift in wind, a darker cloud edge, and a last silhouette fading into distance. Then the documentary is ready to move into texture, people at distance, and the first hints of endemic wildlife. Madagascar's wonder is not only in landmarks. Wonder is also in daily texture. Small systems that keep life moving in places where nature sets the schedule. This chapter shifts from iconic landscapes to the human imprint that stays respectful and wide, without close faces, without turning people into spectacle. The goal is contrast, massive nature beside quiet routine. Travel begins along thin roads that feel stitched into the terrain. Red earth dust rises with each passing wheel and settles slowly on leaves and roofs. Wooden structures appear in clusters, sometimes elevated, sometimes tucked behind vegetation. Smoke threads up from cooking fires. Not dramatic, just steady. Drying lines hold woven materials. A water container sits at the edge of a path, catching light like a simple landmark. These details carry place identity better than any sign. Markets can be filmed as motion and color rather than close portraits. Wide angles show hands moving goods, piles of produce, woven baskets, fabric textures, the geometry of shade under tarps. The camera can stay at shoulder height behind the flow of activity. Faces stay soft and distant. The story remains about rhythm, sorting, carrying, weighing, exchanging. Sound design does the heavy lifting here. Footsteps on packed earth, soft wooden creaks, rustle of bags, a distant engine fading, chickens or small livestock at the edge of frame, wind tapping a tarp, insects continuing as a constant layer. These sounds are both local and universal, grounding the film between big set pieces. The contrast deepens when the route leaves open plain and approaches greener edges. A transition shot can show a cart track narrowing, then disappearing into a darker line of trees. The air feels different. Bird calls change. Shade becomes continuous. The documentary's visual language should soften. Less harsh glare, more dappled light, more mist in distance. Local craft is a retention engine because it is inherently tactile. A workshop scene, filmed without identifying faces, can focus on hands, tools, fibers, and wood grain. A slow push-in on a woven pattern. A macro of knots tightening. A knife shaving wood. A bundle of reeds being sorted. Each action is calm and repeatable, perfect for meditative pacing. The viewer senses skill and continuity without a single spoken explanation. Insert a gentle mini cliffhanger through environment, not drama. A change in sky tone. A sudden shift of wind that pushes dust across frame. A cloud wall arriving slowly from the horizon. A distant rumble of thunder far away. Not threatening, just a reminder of weather's authority. This prepares the next chapter's deeper nature sequences. Movement shots help retention. Travel by small boat along a mangrove edge or along a river at low speed. Water turns into a mirror, reflecting green. Roots form patterns like sculpture. The camera can sit low, near waterline, letting ripples fill the foreground. Again, no narration needed. The scene explains itself through calm observation. This chapter can also introduce local texture objects that will repeat later as consistency anchors. Woven baskets, carved wooden posts, clay pots, a simple headlamp hanging from a beam, a coil of rope, a hand-stitched sack. These objects link the journey and create continuity even as landscapes change. As the chapter nears its close, subtly pivot toward nature behavior. A market sound fades, replaced by insects and distant birds. A road becomes a footpath. A footpath becomes a narrow opening in dense green. The camera pauses at a forest edge like a threshold. Light levels drop. The island's tone shifts from open wonder to hidden wonder. The last beat should feel like entering a quieter room. The path narrows. The canopy closes. The sound becomes layered and intimate. Something moves high above. Only a rustle, a shadow, a brief sway of leaves. The film does not chase it yet. The film simply notices. That restraint creates curiosity without exaggeration. The viewer feels that wildlife is near, but not guaranteed, and that uncertainty is the hook. The next chapter will trade grand scale for small, precise moments that only happen when patience holds. Wildlife sequences in Madagascar should feel earned, not forced. This chapter is built around patience, distance, and the gentle tension of waiting. The island is famous for endemism, life found nowhere else, but the documentary does not need to announce that in words. The visuals can carry it: silhouettes, movement patterns, sound cues, and the unmistakable shapes of lemurs in trees. Begin with the forest soundscape before any animal appears. Insects create a continuous shimmer. Birds call in layers, some sharp, some hollow. Leaves drip from humidity. A branch creaks once, then stillness returns. The camera holds on canopy gaps and mid-level branches, inviting the viewer to search. This engages attention without editing tricks. The first lemur appearance should be simple and iconic. A ring-tailed lemur silhouette on a branch line, tail forming a clear stripe pattern even at distance. Avoid close faces. Keep the subject readable through shape and behavior. A slow pan follows a leap across branches. A pause. A careful climb. A second lemur appears, then disappears behind leaves. The mini cliffhanger is always the same kind of quiet question. Will the animal return to the open? Behavior beats should vary to avoid repetition. A group grooming sequence, hands moving through fur, calm and social. A feeding sequence, careful selection of leaves or fruit, slow chewing, occasional scanning. A travel sequence, tails up, moving in a line across forest floor, then climbing again. Each behavior can anchor 10 to 15 minutes of prompts across the full episode. Here, the chapter introduces the palette. Introduce other wildlife as texture rather than checklist. A chameleon moving slowly along a branch, body color shifting subtly with light. A gecko on bark, almost invisible until movement. A butterfly passing through a sunbeam. A small frog calling from a hidden pool. These micro-wonders amplify the sense that the forest is dense with life, even when large animals remain off-screen. The quiet tension comes from weather and time, not danger. Light changes, wind rises, leaves begin to move more. A distant roll of thunder returns. The forest darkens slightly as cloud cover thickens. Animals respond, movement speeds up, calls change, activity shifts. The viewer senses that conditions shape behavior moment by moment. Use long lenses for compression shots, trunks stacked, lemurs moving through layers of depth. Use wide lenses sparingly for environmental context. The canopy as architecture, the forest floor as textured carpet of leaves and roots. Keep camera movement controlled and realistic. Slow pans, gentle push-ins, locked-off weights. The calm style fits the retention pattern of calm waves with occasional spikes. A spike moment here can be simple and spectacular. A synchronized leap across a gap, captured in a clean frame with a brief burst of motion. Or a sudden rain curtain dropping in the distance, turning the forest silver. Or a loud branch snap off-screen that makes birds explode from a nearby tree. No threat shown, just a surge of life reacting. Sound design should stay precise. Leaf rustle close to make, distant call and response, insects steady, occasional wing flaps. Rain, if present, becomes a full texture. First a few drops on leaves, then a wider hiss as it spreads. Avoid theatrical storm audio. Keep it real. As this chapter closes, transition toward hidden wonder. The forest reveals an opening, a stream cutting through rock, a darker void that suggests a cave or a narrow canyon with vertical walls. The wildlife fades into the background. The sound changes. Water becomes dominant, echo appears, wind narrows. The final frames should feel like approaching a natural doorway. The forest gives way to stone. The air cools, the light dims, water sound grows louder, and the mini cliffhanger is gentle but strong. Beyond this shadow line, the island holds a different kind of silence. This chapter is built like entering a cathedral without walls. The island's hidden wonders work best when the camera slows down even more and sound becomes the main storyteller. The first moments should feel like a threshold. Bright jungle light behind, darker air ahead, temperature dropping, and the sense of space changing. Start with approach shots that signal transition. A narrow trail opens toward rock formations or a canyon mouth. Moisture beads on leaves near the entrance. Ferns grow thicker. Water sound becomes more constant. The camera stays low and steady, moving forward in small increments, letting the viewer feel the pace of arrival. Inside the hidden wonder, let silence be structured, not empty. Drips land on stone with irregular timing. A faint echo repeats. A small stream threads through rock, making a soft, continuous ribbon of sound. Air moves differently, a quiet breath through openings. The overall texture should feel clean and spacious. Use light as the signature language. Rays cut through gaps and reveal suspended mist or dust. Reflections appear on wet rock surfaces. If filming limestone formations or a cave-like environment, focus on sheen, patterns, and slow gradients. If filming a basalt canyon or narrow gorge, emphasize vertical walls, geometric lines, and the way sound tightens between stone. Keep composition simple. 3 layers, clear subject, minimal clutter. Foreground can be wet rocks or a shallow water edge. Midground holds the main formation. Background disappears into darker space. This makes every frame feel like a place rather than random texture. Create mini cliffhangers through sound escalation. Drips grow slightly faster. A distant rumble of water appears, then fades, suggesting a larger chamber beyond. A small breeze arrives, carrying a higher-pitched hiss. A flock of unseen birds outside shifts position, their calls briefly filtering into the opening. Nothing dramatic happens, only signals that the hidden wonder has depth. Add a few micro-reveals every 40 seconds. A turn in the passage reveals a wider room. A low angle shows a ceiling shape that feels impossibly high. A slow push-in reveals tiny mineral patterns on a wall. A tilt down reveals crystal clear water over smooth stone. Each reveal is small but satisfying. If the episode includes a signature otherworldly place, stone forest formations, a natural arch, a narrow slot canyon, or a cave chamber, treat it like a centerpiece. Hold shots longer. Let the viewer's eyes rest. Use gentle camera moves, slow dolly, slow orbit, or a locked-off shot that simply waits. The sound bed should remain natural and restrained. Water trickle, echo, occasional distant insects at the entrance, and subtle wind outside. No sudden loud cues. The calm tension is created by the unknown. How far does this go? And what opens next? As the chapter nears its end, begin to reintroduce daylight. The hidden wonder should not overstay. Let the exit feel like returning to the surface after holding breath. Light grows warmer. Wind becomes broader. Insects return. The echo reduces. The world opens again. End on a transition shot that hints at the next chapter's shift. Clouds stacking, wind bending treetops, or a change in color temperature toward dusk. The last beat should feel like nature adjusting its mood. The island's hidden silence has been heard, and now weather begins to take the lead. This chapter is the engine that carries the film from quiet wonders into the bigger payoff. Logistics, travel, and weather are retention gold when filmed with cinematic restraint. The rhythm becomes slightly more active, but still calm. Movement as meditation. Begin with the first clear sign of weather shift. Clouds thicken. Light loses contrast. Wind moves through canopy in waves. Dust or mist lifts from the ground. A wide shot can show sky layers drifting faster than earlier chapters. The soundscape changes. Wind becomes steady. Leaves respond. Distant thunder becomes a low punctuation. Travel sequences should feel grounded and real. Roads cut through red earth. A boat glides along mangrove edges. A small vehicle crosses a simple bridge. A trail climbs toward higher terrain. The documentary style benefits from progress shots, repeating the same framing in different places to show distance without words. Use signature logistics elements as anchors. A simple camp setup, gear silhouettes, tarps tightening in wind, rope lines, water containers, headlamps turning on at dusk. No faces close up. Human presence stays as scale and function. Moving crates, checking a map, securing equipment, walking into wide frames. The island remains the protagonist. Create mini cliffhangers with directional cues. Wind shifts direction. A dark cloud wall grows at the horizon. A river sound grows louder around a bend. A flock of birds suddenly changes course. A distant animal call appears once, then stops. These cues suggest something ahead without promising it. Camera language should become more kinetic in controlled ways. Tracking shots from low angle along a road. Drone pulls that reveal terrain scale. A push-in toward distant hills under changing light. A wide shot held long enough to feel the weather move across the landscape. Keep motion smooth and documentary real, not action movie. A spike moment can be weather arriving, not danger. Rain begins as visible streaks in backlight. Leaves flash silver. A shelter tarp tightens and flaps once. Puddles form quickly on red soil. Vehicle tires leave deeper tracks. The sound becomes richer. Rainfall on leaves, wind in open space, distant rolling thunder. As dusk approaches, let the island's palette change. Warm tones fade, greens deepen, shadows fill, insects intensify. Night arrives gradually. Logistics become more visible. Lights in a camp area, a headlamp beam scanning the ground, a pot lid settling, a zipper closing. Each sound is crisp and satisfying. If the episode builds toward a big payoff scene, Baobab Avenue sunrise, coastal cliffs with blowholes, a vast canyon, or an aerial mega landscape, use this chapter to move geographically toward it. The audience should feel distance traveled. The environment should become more open or more dramatic, hinting at scale. End this chapter with a clear approach beat. The camera reveals the first edge of the payoff location, still partially hidden. A silhouette of massive trees at horizon. A coastline line appearing through mist. A canyon lip glimpsed between clouds. The final mini cliffhanger is a simple visual question. What does this look like when light returns and the full scale is visible? This chapter is the reward. The island shows its largest signature picture, and the edit gives it room to breathe. The key is not speed, but scale. Wide frames, slow movement, and precise sound that makes size feel real. Open with an approach reveal that confirms arrival. A long lens shot shows the landmark from far away, softened by haze. Then a wide shot expands the frame until the full structure or landscape reads instantly. The viewer should recognize the poster image within the first 30 seconds of this chapter. Let the payoff location deliver 3 to 5 signature scenes, each with a different visual angle so it doesn't feel repetitive. If the payoff is a famous tree avenue, give one centered symmetrical view, one low angle looking up through branches, one side view with depth lines, one drone pull-up that shows pattern and distance. If the payoff is a coastline event, show the wide coast, then the water behavior, then the rock detail, then the aerial scale. Use light as the main drama. Sunrise or late golden hour is ideal because it creates natural contrast and rim light. Shadows stretch and carve the scene. Backlight reveals dust, mist, sea spray, or insects. Keep the grade natural, no artificial neon, no exaggerated saturation. Sound sells the event. If this is a coastal payoff, sea swell and spray become the headline sound. If this is a canyon or plateau, wind becomes wide and steady, with occasional leaf or grass movement in the foreground. If animals are present, keep them as distant ambience, calls that place the scene without turning into a wildlife close-up show. Build mini cliffhangers by holding tension inside calm. A wave set grows larger. A gust arrives stronger. Clouds slide away and brighten a hidden section. A distant animal movement crosses a ridgeline and disappears. A shadow line creeps across the landmark, making the shape change in real time. Add one spike moment that is purely natural and safe. A bigger wave hits a rock shelf and throws spray higher. A sudden beam of sunlight breaks through cloud and ignites the scene. A flock lifts off as a single shape. A wind gust bends the canopy and then settles. Keep it awe, not danger. Camera moves should be slow and confident. Dolly push-ins, smooth gimbal walk, steady drone pullbacks, gentle orbits. Avoid frantic handheld. Let the viewer feel the film has control and patience. Use human presence only for scale if needed, and only as silhouettes, small figures standing still at a viewpoint, not faces, not interaction. A single silhouette in the corner can make the landmark feel 10 times bigger. Midway through the chapter, introduce a detail reveal to refresh attention. Close-up texture, bark patterns, salt crystals, wave foam bubbles, red soil grains, wet rock sheen. Then widen back out. That alternation between micro and mega keeps retention high. Close the payoff chapter with a final signature shot that feels like the definitive postcard. An ultra-wide frame, perfect light, clean horizon, minimal clutter, and a long hold. Then add a gentle mini cliffhanger that signals the film is moving into farewell. Light softens, wind calms, or the last glow begins to fade. The farewell chapter is where viewers decide whether to stay to the end. The goal is emotional closure without speechy narration. Simple images, breathing pace, and sound that feels like a final exhale. Begin by leaving the payoff location slowly. A reverse drone pull away, a last look over the shoulder, or a long tracking shot down a road or shoreline. The chapter should feel like the island receding, not ending abruptly. Use a sequence of calm memory frames, small moments that echo earlier chapters. A leaf drip similar to the hidden wonder, a distant animal call similar to the night chapter, a wind texture similar to the logistics chapter, a quiet water surface similar to the approach scenes. These echoes make the film feel designed. Light transitions are the best farewell tool. Sunset into blue hour, or night into sunrise. The horizon becomes a character, a line that holds attention while everything else quiets. Long holds work here. 10 to 20 seconds per shot feels luxurious. Sound should be pure and minimal. Wind, insects, distant surf, soft footsteps on soil if travel is shown, a boat wake if water travel is shown. No hero SFX. The mix should feel airy, with space and depth. Insert mini cliffhangers as gentle questions, not suspense. A distant call appears once, then stops. A shadow moves across a hill. Fog slides in and hides the coastline. A final star field brightens. A sunrise glow appears before the sun itself. Each cue invites curiosity, but keeps the calm. If the film includes a transport element like a boat or vehicle, use it as the closing motif. A vehicle tail light in fog without any brand. A boat bow cutting smooth water. A camp being packed in silhouette. A tent wall fluttering once, then going still. These visuals signal completion of a journey. One closing signature scene should be extremely simple and beautiful. A wide horizon with one strong subject. Tree silhouette, coastline line, or a clean sky gradient. Keep clutter low. Let the viewer rest. End with a lingering final horizon shot that fades naturally. The last seconds should feel like silence returning to the island. No dramatic finale, just distance, light, and air.